This is the Sim Pit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and welcome to today's edition of the Pit Stop, where you, my friends, are the real star of today's show, because we are here to talk about sim racing. Does my intro get too redundant? I always wonder, like, I know a lot of broadcasters having their classic intro and outro is part of their persona, and then sometimes it's like, yeah, you know, you've been doing that for years. Maybe it's time you mix it up. Anyway, thank you for being here. Happy Tuesday. I thought we were short on news. This morning when I woke up, it looked like there wasn't a lot to talk about, to be honest with you. But sure enough, things just kept rolling in. So, my first story, I'm going to warn you. I said this, what was it, just yesterday? Just yesterday, I think I said, well, we're going to hear something pretty soon from Alonso. So the big news today on Sky Sports, breaking news, this was literally just an hour ago. Fernando Alonso to quit F1 at the end of this season. Bum, ba-dum, bum. What does that mean? You think he's done? No, 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 no. Well, you know the speculation. The speculation is that Fernando Alonso is very, very, very likely to be running IndyCar next year. And I gotta tell you, if there is one thing that IndyCar could use that would really, IndyCar's been on a nice kind of comeback. And anybody who's a longtime IndyCar fan, kart, whatever you want to, they know that it's been coming back. It's getting more and more exciting each year. And Fernando coming to IndyCar could just completely change things. Anyway, I am really looking forward to the next big news out of Fernando. On his Twitter feed, really interesting video that went up 58 minutes ago, titled Dear F1. And I'm not going to play the whole thing, because you know what? Today's a great day to go give Fernando Alonso some respect. You can go watch this at his Twitter feed, but it looks like it's a little, you know, the life from the beginning to the end, so to speak, for Fernando. At least as of now. We wait for the next chapter. Yeah, who knows? He could end up in a lot of different places, by the way. And it's not a shocking announcement. We kind of, yeah, this is not the biggest news. It's just part of the transfer, part of the changing of the guard, so to speak. Anyway, I'm excited about it, as you can tell. That's legit. Raceroom, more teases of the F1 FIA, sorry, F1. The FIA WTCR. That's the Hyundai. Look at the Hyundai. That's a cool looking car. My mom drives that exact car. Well, my mom drives a very tame street version of that car right there. My good friend Michael Lewis races for Hyundai, actually. Been talking to him about doing some like driver lab level training with him. We might have something cool coming up on the show with me and Michael Lewis. Anyway, iRacing, talking about tonight. So if you're just looking for something to watch, oh, this was Monday. This was last night, so now you'd have to watch the replay. There you go, Sean, always Johnny on the spot with current news. Anyway, World of Outlaws Craftsman late model division from Limaland. So you can check that if you want to see it. I think that was all we had out of iRacing today. The crew is announcing that they're going to have, starting on the 3rd of September, some fan community weekly challenges. So I found this at the Crew 2 Twitter feed. They do have a bigger write-up here. Not a lot to say, and apparently the website is yet closed. But coming September 3rd, which is still, you know, 3 weeks away, 2 weeks away, they're going to have time challenges, street racing, freestyle, off-road, and pro racing. So that could be fun for the people who want that. Tomorrow night, just a heads up. I don't know. I'm going to have to talk to the guys at Rick Motec. I'm assuming that somehow, some way, they're going to stream it with or without me. I'd be willing to stream it, but I don't think I'm going to drive in it. Wednesday, I got to figure out. But tomorrow night, Hot Lap Hump Day out of Rick Motec. I'll try to get you news tomorrow morning on where and how you can watch that and whether I'll be attending. I'm kind of leaning towards not. I'm really behind on things, and I'm all about the 24-hour Le Mans coming up. So what can I say? We had the various different videos of the drivers of the McLaren Shadow team. So even though they're doing their Shadow McLaren competition. I guess that's the team name they've sort of absorbed, or at least they're using for all marketing at this point. Devin, that would be awesome. Oh, Devin, that would be awesome. Yeah, you'll do fine. Anyway, we had the introduction videos from Enzo, Bono, and Ollie, and now we have a new video. So if you find this at McLaren Shadow on Twitter, Enzo Bonito giving you some of his top tips for racing success. Funny guy, you gotta love. They have a great. You know what? They picked some. These three guys are not only extraordinary sim racers, but they're all really good guys. I've spoken very highly of all three of these in the past. So great pickup by McLaren on doing that. We've talked about GT3, GTR3. Hey, shut up. Go away. Whoever's calling me from New Jersey, I'm not available. Race Department did an interview with GTR3 Simbin. So Paul Jeffrey, their editor-in-chief, interview completed. They will be publishing before the end of the week. So give them credit for going and getting that story, and you guys can tune in to Race Department towards the end of the week, apparently, if you want to hear, including they got plenty of footage, or they saw plenty of footage. It doesn't say, well, they're going to have lots of footage, but there you go, coming out of Race Department. Video card Z. You know, I go back and forth on what to cover, and in the end, like I said, I'll speed up and slow down as I need to on certain things. I mean, today we do have a little bit of a short show, but the GeForce RTX 2080. So we are getting details of the next gen video cards and some imagery and cool things. This is at Video Card Z. As we, you know, again, this beautiful thing that is going on, and it looks like the event will take place next week in Cologne. So this is GeForce Gaming Celebration. Is this them doing a piggyback event of sorts next to Gamecom? I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, you can check that out at Video Cards if you want to know about the next gen before they come out. Polygon.com. Interesting article here about how Sony has stalled. Like at E3, they announced they were not going to do cross-platform support. There was all sorts of backlash against them. But apparently, it's not hurting PlayStation nearly as much as it's hurting the Switch and the Xbox and other such devices. So, they're even in this article talking about the reasons why and how it hasn't hurt Sony and how it's not exactly incentivizing them to hurry up on the whole cross-platform support. Are you from Jersey? Yeah, I don't know anyone from Jersey. Who knows? It was telemarketing, I'm sure. PSU.com. Super Street, the game, gets first racing gameplay trailer. So you can check out the trailer on YouTube, actually. So if you look up Super Street, you will see something that looks like this. Another game of games coming to the arcadey side of sim racing. It's got wheels and a motor. I love it. There you go. Super Street, the game. Oh. Yep, when you drift, you lose bumpers. Now, this is an interesting article, and just the other day, somebody opened my mind to Case Labs and who they were. And talking about how they make some of the best cases in all of, you know, when you see those, like, super killer builds of computers, Case Labs are the guys that they're using the cases from. Anyway, Case Labs president, tariffs drove them out of business. So apparently, Case Labs have closed their doors, which is really unfortunate for the high-end computer gaming market, and they are blaming. They're saying the tariffs have played a major role raising prices by almost 80%. Now, that's on the parts side. It's Bon Jovi calling. Excuse me. So, anyway, that's an unfortunate thing, and as I mentioned, a lot of the tariffs for our end could theoretically hit on the 24th. That's 10 days from now. TikTok. Don't quote me. Don't go spending money because I said that. Go find an article and find out for yourself. But it's kind of interesting what could happen. I mean, I think most stuff is all temporary as things work their course. It doesn't, you know, overnight changes happen and then things, they're awfully expensive. Yeah, well, that's, you know, when you're kind of on the Ferrari side of things, you kind of charge a ridiculous amount in order to maintain that mystique to an extent. You know, whenever a really, really high-end company goes after that mainstream market with a lesser product, they can never go back to that Ferrari-esque thing that they had about them. So in the case of Case Labs, if they just wanted to be known as that, they kind of had to stay in that level. And if they made a consumer case, so to speak, they wouldn't be the same company. And we've seen that from lots of different computer companies that were once known as cutting-edge Alienware. And then they, you know, they're still great computers, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if they hold the same mystique as when they were pre-Dell. Again, another article at PC World for all those who want to know every last detail and the reason or the 6 things that PC gamers need to know about the GeForce RTX, excuse me. Here's a whole write-up on the big deal about the next-gen cards. So I'm just pointing you in the direction. To me, you know what? I'll find out how it works for sim racing and find out if I need one or not. I don't need to know all the details. Let me just put it that way. That's my version because I'm not a supercomputer techie guy. I told you the other day about PC Gamer had the write-up on the VR headset for $100. Had it $110 somewhere else the other day, but this one was out of stock already. Apparently, as of 12 hours ago, they were back in stock again. This is without motion controllers, just the head unit on its own. $99. I can't think of a cheaper way to put an contaminated, like as in not used, uncontaminated mask on your head. I can't think of a way to test out VR for less than $100. So if you're like, I'm still waiting on the next gen, but right now I'm like, oh, I want to get an Oculus so bad. There's things I want to do. I just know the next one are around the corner. I've been waiting for that upgraded version that hasn't happened yet, but at $100, now that's not an Oculus, which is the one that I wanted, but still, at $100, that's a pretty good test test fee. Here is another place, B&H selling it also for $99. So this offer ends August 16th. Instant savings. Oh yeah. So it's down to $99.99 at B&H Photo as well. So good chances that you can get that if you're looking for it. Not as inexpensive. The HP Windows Mixed Reality. They're both of those, by the way, are 1440 resolution, not 1080. This is 1440 as well, and so is the Lenovo. Yeah, 2880 by 1440 total resolution. But the HP version, you can get it right now for $299 with controllers. So if you're looking for the whole deal, there you go. PC Gamer have an article here about the EVA GTX 1080 SC with a 750 watt power supply for just $490. So you can check that out at PC Gamer if those are parts you're looking for. PC World talking about the 1 terabyte Samsung SSD for only $200 at Amazon or B&H right now. So that is like $70 cheaper than the beginning of summer, $20 cheaper than last month, and not a bad deal for a 1 terabyte solid state. I can see why spinny drives are going away, because that's a very reasonable price for a terabyte. Speaking of deals, lots of deals today. The Bose noise canceling headphones and earbuds are $50 off at Amazon. You know, when I read this, I thought they were selling those for $50, and I was like, I'm gonna buy 3 pair. It's $50 off. Not quite as good a deal, but $50 off on known to be good headphones. I've used these on an airplane. I'm not sure if it's the exact model, but they were really pretty decent. They have no lows. No lows from Bose. how to get a new Xbox One X for $200. Wow, I'm getting bored with deals, to be honest with you. I think this is the last deal I'm going to talk about, thankfully. But GameSpot has an article on how, if you're in the US only, Xbox One X, so you can get that 4K. We had that article just yesterday putting the One X versus the PS4 Pro in 4K mode. But anyway, normally it's $500, so a $300 credit. You need to trade in. I don't know. Anyway, you can check that out if you want a One X. I'm not buying one, so I didn't read it. Let's see. Full Throttle has an article here on the ranked mode in SummerSlam, which didn't we talk about this just yesterday? Anyway, the Onrush had announced that they're going to have some competitions within the game that don't exist as of now. So now you get a little insight out of fullthrottlemedia.co.uk on the various different achievements and not achievements, awards, because this is like ranked preseason is what's going on. So adding to the fun of that game. At Gamescom. So a lot of you, I'm encouraging you guys, if you're near Cologne, Germany, Gamescom is the place to be. And we talked about various different things that are going to be there. Including Ford is going to have a 4D simulator there. I believe they're going to be, the truck, I think, is what they're simulating. But maybe they're doing more than that. But this comes to us at drivingitalia.net. And it just mentions that that's going to be there. The best of the day among the virtual drivers will be able to win a trip to the United Kingdom to spend a day with the M Sport Ford World Rally team. They're going to be in Hall 8 at Gamescom. So, yep, if you're out there, you got to do it. Contacts? Oh, VR. You're talking VR. Thank you. Driving Italia also has an article from Feel VR, an update of sorts. And, you know, I tried to find this and couldn't even find it. So, congratulations to them. But some new imagery out of Feel VR. So, as we still wait for a little more from them still, there is still a pulse. There is a sign of life out of Feel VR still. I looked at their Kickstarter. There's no news, no new news here, really. So it was kind of hard to figure out how they found that, but they did. So again, there is a pulse, signs of life, light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. Driving Italia also talking about the TCR mod for Project Cars 2. Something you can check out. Whoops. Did that work? Nope, I screwed it up. Sorry. And you'll find that at Driving Italia as well. So if you're looking, pretty cool looking Audi mod. We talked about a different variation of that car. Isn't that part of the WTCR Raceroom pack? Excuse me. Okay. I don't know if you guys remember the last time we saw Patrick Holzman. This gentleman here. Last time I saw him, he was quite a bit bigger. And younger. But Toro Rosso, Patrick Holzman lost 15 kilograms for the F1 eSport return. We just talked about Brendan Lay just a couple weeks ago. He lost 22 kilograms in his eSport return. So I talk about fitness. I mean, you don't have to, but, you know, he's doing his best to be at the peak performance for this very, very valuable competition that he's, you know, entering into. You want to have every advantage you possibly can, and you got to think about it. It comes down to your driving skills, your setup skills, your you know, attention, your hand-eye coordination. All these different factors come into play when you talk about competing on that level, and 15 kilograms could probably make a big difference there too as well. So, interesting article out of Eurosport. Losing to esports WTCR Ascaro Aces, no problem for me, says Urlacher. Anyway, cool article from Jan Urlacher, who says he would accept losing to an established sim racer in the eSport WTCR Ascaro multiplayer championships. So anyway, they are planning some mixed events, I believe. So he might actually end up having to see what he can do, and it'll, you know, I can tell you right now, we already saw the way the Visa Vegas, 33 pounds, thank you, Steam King. In Visa Vegas, we saw the Formula E guys go up against the best sim racers, and the sim racers didn't really get much time to warm up. And at first, you know what? Those pro guys really could drive. And the difference between practice and when they went to qualifying, though, it was like mostly Formula E drivers at the top of the board, funny enough, during the last practice. During qualifying, I think 9 of the top 10 were the sim racers, with one real Formula E driver, Felix was his name. It was Ollie's teammate. Norquist? What's Felix something? Anyway, moving right along. The Observer has an article, Sarnia VR Arcade hosting esports competition. Now, I don't know where Sarnia is, but what I read here in the top line, and it might be worth reading for you guys, especially the VR buffs, but a virtual reality arcade in Sarnia is one of about 120 internationally signed on Friday for what organizers are calling the largest ever VR video game tournament. So it sounds like there is a huge VR Beat Saber global tournament going on in person from 120 different VR arcade facilities of sorts. That's kind of cool. That's big league. That's really cool. So anyway, I thought that was a cool story. If you're a VR buff, you're going to want to check that out at theobserver.ca. What else do we got? A couple more things, and then we'll get off the air. Ah, you know what? Wait, what's this one? This is a story that didn't work. What happened? Okay. I guess we're to the end of the show, but I got some rigs to show you today. So this showed up on Reddit. And this guy says he upgraded. I don't know who. These just get sent in. Stefan Sullivan photo, 19 hours ago. Upgraded to his Fnatic V3s on his homebrew steel rig. I gotta tell you, look at this beautiful welding and metal work. This guy obviously works with metal because that is artistic and beautiful. And you know what? I'll tell you what. Look at the way it's reinforced. You know that thing's solid as a rock. He's got the old school, CSL wheel, the Fnatic CSL, but he upgraded to the V3 pedals. You can see them with the red accents. I thought that was a pretty darn nice looking rig for a home-built DIY style rig. Lots of style, not just function, but style as well, and you know I like that. And speaking of rigs, I'm going to show a few of our viewer rigs as well today. So starting off with Brian Osterich, who was brought into our group by Tom Jones, who also got him to send in these pictures. You know, where there's a will, there's a way. He was going to use his main TV to sim race, but it was just too far away and wasn't going to work. So he built this slide under the desk rig to run on a single screen, just to be able to get up and running and sim racing. Looks comfortable as can be. You can see he's got the Logitech wheel. Got plenty of no distraction with it looking into the corner like that, so I'm sure he can race in somewhat private conditions. And you can see his incredibly cool driving shoes slippers there. But I thought that was really cool. And then also Devin Booth, who I'm going to talk about not only in his beautiful DIY Deathmobile here. That to me looks like a Formula-style Deathmobile. Am I right, Devin? That is an F1 Deathmobile. Yes, it is. Look at that. That is a total laydown Deathmobile. I love it. Devin, great work. Great work with the unfinished wood, the poor man's pro rig, and I'm sure that thing is rock solid and awesome. So as I show you Devin's rig here, Devin is going to be streaming this evening at 6 p.m. Project Cars 2 right here on the SimPit Crew channel. And you can tune in for that, and he'll probably even give out the password if you want to jump in and race with him. And a few of the guys are going to be out there. Unfortunately, I will not be able to attend, but the show must go on. Thank you, Devin Booth. He usually takes care of our Tuesday Project Cars. Should be a lot of fun, and they always have fun with that. So, anyway, and beautiful rig there. Very impressive. And Devin might even be handling our Hot Lap Hump Day tomorrow as well. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. Tuesday is my day to get caught up. I try to just do other projects behind the scenes, so I'm going to run, take care of business, and be back tomorrow morning with another edition of the Pit Stop. For now, I'm Sean Cole. This is the Sim Pit. This is the Sim Pit, and I'll see you on the track.